Today's video is all about winning more dice rolls. Okay, we're going to be talking mostly about dialogue and storyline stuff and ability checks, which means when you, like, say, open a Necromancer book, it's like, oh, you need to pass this roll or it'll corrupt your brain. We're going to be talking mostly about how to increase your odds, your chances of winning these dice rolls. So here's what I've done. I've read through the game's entire files. Now, I haven't played every corner of the game endlessly and documented this. I plan to at some point if my videos become really big and popular. But for now, I took the game's files and I parsed them through AI scanning, software to tell me the numbers of every single time skill checks come up in the entire game's code. And here's what I got, because the AI gave me slightly different numbers every time. But from playing the game a bunch, I can confirm that this is mostly true. So, for saving throws, this game has the most wisdom saving throws out of everything else. Over around 175 to 200 on average every time I ask the AI to scan the game's code. Strength and dex, intelligence, constitution, and charisma, saving throws, it's whatever. Now, skill checks, every time the game wants you to do a skill check, during talking to things. These are not the ones that just randomly pop up in the environment. Like if you're running around and you succeed a survival check, you'll find a dirt mound to dig up. This does not count those. Alright? So persuasion, most dialogue, you have an option to persuade. So you definitely want to have that high. Intimidation and deception are next, and then arcana, insight, performance, history, nature, etc. Whereas if we get really, really down to it, like survival and acrobatics are the least important skills to have in the entire game. According to the game's code and the AI, there could be these numbers could be off. These numbers are not absolute, but these numbers are pretty darn close to the actual numbers. I just have to play through the entire game and then manually catalog everything, which is something I will do if my videos succeed on this platform. I will also mention that almost every time persuasion comes up, yes, there's intimidation and deception, but persuasion is almost always the better choice, though not always the easiest choice. Sometimes when you intimidate a creature, character, whatever, during dialogue, you have a higher percent chance to succeed, as in the difficulty check of the dice roll is lower. But a lot of these persuasion intimidations are all the different guards in the game, all the different NPCs that will be like, oh, you attack someone, you're going to jail. So that's why that number is way higher, whereas storyline-wise, you're probably still expected at least 100 of those. I didn't know how to ask the AI to parse and separate guard actions from storyline character actions, but these numbers are still pretty damn close, and it's a good baseline. And now, with that information, we're going to spend the rest of the video explaining how to increase our dice rolls so that we win more than we lose. And the very first thing is you want to go to your options and disable Karmic dice. In beta, this was known as loaded dice. What this does is it tries to not allow you to have streaks of high dice rolls or low dice rolls. It tries to even them out. So if you get a bunch of high dice rolls, it will make it a higher percent chance for you to fail some dice rolls. You don't want this. If you're min-maxing and making proper builds and characters, you definitely want this off so that you hit more often, you crit more often, the enemies miss more often, and you win more dice rolls than you lose. Of course, if you're new and your builds suck, then you want to turn this on. It's basically cheating, and you'll win more dice rolls that way if your characters are terrible. But for everyone else that knows how to play the game and watches my videos and my guides, you turn this off. Everyone turns this off that knows what they're doing, because it benefits you more to turn it off, and it's more fair. So one of the first and earliest ways to boost your ability scores, which I see a lot of new streamers and people that don't take advantage of this, is guidance. And you can get this on clerics and druids and level 3 warlocks. You can also get a silver pendant that has it if you're like going an all-fighter party or something weird like that. But this just gives you 1 to 4 bonus to ability checks. It's free. It will always be available as long as you should have a cleric in your party, especially on higher difficulties. And that cleric will always be able to just, cast guidance on you when the ability check arises. I'm going to show that off later. Next up is the Enhance ability spell. This one is really good to have. What it does is it gives you advantage on a chosen ability. So if you're making a wisdom saving throw, then you can cast this. And what advantage is, it lets you roll 2 dice, and it picks the higher numbered one. Very, very good to have. And it's level 3 Bard, Cleric, Druid, and Sorcerer, so you should always have a character that has this on standby with a spell slot available when you're making those really difficult or important, story choices. Now, there's actually a lot of other situational things, like, for instance, Beacon of Hope will give you advantage on wisdom saving throws, so you could cast this instead of Enhance Ability. But, again, there's a lot of situational things. For instance, one of the items here, this Ring of Protection, gives you saving throw +1. That only applies on certain dialogue choices. Same thing with this, like, Safeguard Shield, another saving throw +1. But again, it's not everything. And then, you know, sometimes just being a cleric, you know, lets you deal with things easier than other classes. Being a monk lets you deal with things easier. Everybody has little situational advantages. But I'm going to share a very powerful one in Act 1, one of the best in the game that will let you... It's a huge bonus. I'm just going to show you. So in the Myconid colony, right here at the Underdark Beach, you're going to fight some Dwagar, or maybe not fight them, but you should absolutely slay them all for this buff. Because if you go down here and you kill the Dwagar, you can return to the Myconid colony up here, and you'll turn in a quest to kill those Dwagar, and you will receive an amazing, super powerful buff called Bliss Spores. You definitely want this. So I'm going to wait until my party's all around this character here, this Sovereign Spall guy. Who is, again, we're all right here on the map. And we're going to talk to Sovereign Spall. And we're going to say, the Dwagar are slain, the rot has been purged. Do not say anything else to this guy. Do not say that you killed Glut or anything. If you say anything else, he doesn't give you the buff. It might be a bug, but make sure you tell him the Dwagar are slain, the rot has been purged. And there we go. So he gave us the buff now. And he's going to ask us to do one more deal. So we're going to say, consider it done. And there we go. I just got the buff Bliss Spores. This is a 1d6. That means 1 to 6 on attack rolls, ability checks, saving throws, until the next long rest. This is huge. This allows you to pass almost every kind of persuasive thing remaining in Act 1. All the really tough and difficult ability checks will now be easier. I'm actually going to demonstrate one of the hardest in Act 1 right here for you, and that is the Necromancy of Thay. And we're going to go ahead and read it here. And I'm going to show you all the kind of things that we can stack to make this simple, right? So we're going to insert the Amethyst into the book. And then we're going to open the book. And we're going to have to do a bunch of skill checks. So we're going to do Saving Throw. And this is Wisdom. So I'm a cleric. I have 16 Wisdom. So here's what it looks like right now. I have the Wisdom. I have Warding Bond. And if I put on that Ring of Protection, I would have another +1. So Warding Bond, again, that's a +1 to saving throws. If I had that shield, it's a +1, right? But Bliss Spores, this is a 1 to 6. Check out the bonuses we can add. So we can add Bless, that's a 1d4. We can add Resistance, that's a 1d4. And you want to make sure that you're adding these with separate different characters. And then I can give myself Beacon of Hope. And now look at this. Look how easy this is. We have a bonus of 12 to 23. And I normally skip the dice roll animation, but look, we got some low numbers. We technically failed without any of these bonuses. But when you start adding up the bonuses, look at that. Look at that huge number that we got. We got low rolls, but the bonuses made it a big, juicy, fat roll. Okay, so we passed it. Pretty simple, but it only gets harder from here. We're going to turn another page. Now I need to roll a 15 or higher. We have the same bonuses here. And, you know, because Bless and Resistance are persisting. And again, I could make this higher. And look, again, we failed the roll, but with the bonuses, we clearly made a 33. Huge, huge, huge. Finally, we're going to do another one for 20. Boy, oh boy, this one's difficult, isn't it? Now look at my bonuses again. There's nothing else I can apply here. And I skipped the animation because we rolled a 34. You can see that with Bliss Spores, we're rolling way higher than we should be at this level with these buffs. So I just got a permanent buff. That's a +1 right here. You know, and this is going to be useful for later. Now I have a permanent +1 to saving throws and ability checks for Wisdom. And remember earlier when I showed you that the game throws more Wisdom checks at you than anything else. So this is something you always want to have. Now, obviously, you can pass rolls by just saving the game and loading if you fail. Yeah, but, you know, that can eat up a lot of your time, right? So now we have this kind of sword in the stone check that we need. We have our Bliss Spores on the main character. That's a 1d6 bonus. Now, this is a strength and a religion check. So if you check your characters, you go to their character sheet, and you switch to the little, you know, head icon, the skills icon. Well, religion. Who's good at religion? My character is. We got two characters that are okay with religion, and then my character is slightly better at strength. But the reason why he's better at strength is he has this little weapon that sets his strength to 19 when he has it equipped, right? So, as you can see, we have a athletics check of +4, and if I take this weapon off, my strength becomes 16, and now it is just an athletics check of +3, but if I chug this Hill Giant Strength Elixir, now it's a +5. So, that makes it even easier to yoink this sword out of the stone, and you can see here, you can mouse over to see which one's better. You can see I'm mousing over Strength, +3 from Strength, +2 from Elixir, 1d6 from Bliss Spore. So that is 5 plus 6, that's 11. Plus 11. This one here is -1 from Intelligence because my character is a dum-dum, and then 6 and then 5, so that would be 10. So it's actually better for me to do a Strength check here, and look at the other bonuses I can get. Guidance, remember that from earlier? Boom, that's another 1d4 bonus. And you can't mix elixirs, so if I drink this, I lose the Elixir Filled Giant Strength +2, but it gives advantage. But it is a roll of 15, so imagine if I did not have the elixir, I did not have the strength, I did not have bliss spores, this would be this is like a 25% chance to succeed kind of thing, right? But with these bonuses, we made a 24, and now we got ourselves a new weapon that we can use to buff our party. You know, these are pretty hard skill checks. If you're playing on auto mode, you don't get to load the game and try again. You just don't get the sword for the rest of the playthrough. So it's very important to min-max your skill checks in this regard. Now, there are skill checks that you're really not supposed to pass, but the game kind of, you know D&D. Oh, you rolled a 20, well, I guess you did it. Okay, so there are some of those. I don't have any really good examples, but I'm going to show you a realistic one, okay? So in this part of the game, there is what's called a Githyanki Creche. It is occupied by Lae'zel's people. They're very militaristic, you know. If you just walked into a military base, do you think you could talk your way into it and just kind of chill out in the barracks and stuff? I don't think so. But here, I'm going to use my 14 charisma character, and we're going to try just that. Now, that's Astarion. Here, we need... Let's link everybody up. Anyway, link everybody up. I don't need the summons, or it doesn't matter if the summons follow me. Sometimes the summons can scare people. But anyway, so here I'm using my charisma character, my highest charisma character. He's not really that high, but we're going to startle the guards here, and they're going to freak out. And now I have to explain why the heck I'm here. So I can try intimidating with a +2 or persuasion with a +2, +5 from Favourable Beginnings. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, because that's another one. That's a huge +5. And then Persuasion is another +5. But look at this, right? So I have, 3 nice bonuses. I can cast Friends for advantage and get Guidance. And we have a lot of bonuses here. So this is still a pretty hard roll of 18 to pass, right? Let's see what it... Look at that. I got a 3 and a 14. If I didn't have advantage, I would have got a 3. And even with all these bonuses, I probably still wouldn't have passed. But okay, so we clearly passed it this time, right? Now, let's rewind time a bit, and this time, Lae'zel will be the face of the party, because Lae'zel is a Githyanki. Lae'zel, these are her bros. They are her friends. She is their race. They know her. They're her co-workers. They stock the shelves at Walmart together, whatever. And so she's still startled, but I can just use Githyanki and then say, it is mandate. And then there you go, I'm in. No persuasion check necessary, no dice rolls. We're in immediately. They don't care. These guys are with me. They're cool. And it's that simple. So why don't we talk about Favourable Beginnings, right? So Favourable Beginnings is it's an illithid power. You get this, as soon as you long rest a few times. But the first attack or ability check you make against a target gives you a bonus to your proficiency bonus, which is usually +5 if you have it high enough. And the way Favourable Beginnings works, okay, is she was my target. So what happens, and you can't see it in the game's coding, or you can't see it in the menu here, but she is technically debuffed with Favourable Beginnings. The first time you interact with someone, the game flags their character as debuffed by Favourable Beginnings. So having Favourable Beginnings on a character that passes a lot of skill checks, that's a free +5 for again, most things every time you do it per target. It's not once per day, it's once per target. Now, after 100 turns, the target will be vulnerable again to Favourable Beginnings, just so you know. Now, here's another situation where you're simply not supposed to win the dice rolls unless you somehow made Lae'zel into a wizard. And, hold on.
Go to the Zaithis.
Alright, let me just get that skipped. So, this is the Zaithis. This is to remove the parasite. Not really. I'm not going to tell you what it's really for. But, Lae'zel's been harping on this thing the whole adventure, right? She wants in. It's my duty, my right. So you tell her, go ahead, you earned it, girl. Get in there. Strap in, have some fun. And boy, oh boy, you know, you can try to tell her to get out of there. You're not going to pass the 30. I mean, maybe, you know, with all the bonuses you could. And, yeah, okay. But here's the thing. Like, you're not really meant to pass these dice rolls. Like, they're very difficult. And you could try to, you know, use your wisdom roll. Oh, look, it's a 21. And we actually rolled a nat 20, so we succeeded there. That's a 5% chance, normally, okay? Again, you're not meant to win these dice rolls. And it hurts Lae'zel's permanent stats until you give her some brainworms, which she doesn't like. If you actually, like, talk to Lae'zel, it takes, like, 5 rolls for her to, or no, it's like 2 really high rolls to convince her to use the damn things. And then there are times where passing a deception or persuasion check or whatever is actually detrimental. So in this case, we want this woman to leave the room so we can steal everything on the shelves. If I deceive her and tell her that, you know, the parasite is dead, she'll be like, oh, okay, and she'll just chill in the room. But if we tell her the parasite lives, she will leave the room to gather her tools, aka gather things to kill you with. And then she leaves the room. She also locks the door, whatever. And then you can rob everything in this room. And, you know, it's, again, a lot of things are situational. You don't always have to pick deception or persuasion. Sometimes just regular discussion is the better choice. In this case, she locked the door because she doesn't want us leaving, and she's getting her party members to come kill us. But thanks to video games, we can just teleport to the waypoint. It doesn't matter. Now, there may be one of you out there that's like, I'm playing a genocide run. I don't need to talk to anybody. I don't need to do any kind of persuasion checks or any checks at all. I'm just going to kill everybody. And to that I say, congrats, bro. But here's how you want to min-max your genocide run. Because you can double dip into experience points. So here's an example. Instead of just killing these guys, we're going to persuade them, right? With, you know, friends and guidance. There we go. Pretty easy to do. We did it. And then they're going to bugger off. They're going to leave. However, I'm just going to enter turn-based mode, and then I'm going to kill them, so now I got double the experience. And that is how you should truly be a genocidal maniac in this game. If you're going to kill everyone, you might as well be like, yeah, get out of here. And then like, okay. And then you kill them, and you're like, blah. It's the ultimate evil way to play. It's the most min-maxy way to play. And you're still going to want to have high persuasion to play a genocidal maniac killer. Anyway, that's it for the video. If this video does well, I can make a video that tells you how to min-max, cheat, cheese, or break every important skill check in the game. That's something I've been thinking about doing, but lately my videos have not been doing good in this category, and I gotta play something that pays the bills, doggone it. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. I beg you. You are my only social interaction. I do not have friends. I do not have family. I do not have a job. I don't go out. I just read YouTube comments. That's it. That's my life. Please, please, please leave one for me. Finally, on the right side of your screen is a video you should absolutely click. And if you don't click it, then your real life persuasion stat is going to be a -1.